Hey everybody, today I wanted to make kind of a short video, ultimately on the topic of why it's okay to not have it all figured out. And I think there's in our society today, especially with social media, I've talked a lot about this, and I won't dive into it too much today. People just kind of seem like they have everything figured out on social media, and then in your life, especially when you're talking to people, like we don't talk about our failures usually. It's not super cool to talk about our failures, especially post those on social media. And today I just wanted to talk about like why it's okay to not have it all figured out. So I wanted to start with kind of my past journey these few months. I honestly, if I were to end 2025 today, I would really think that this year is a year of growth. I'm 28 years old, and I feel like once you hit your mid 20s or mid to late 20s, you kind of you're far away from those early 20s to where you were kind of a degenerate, or hopefully not everybody was a degenerate. But ultimately, you're kind of trying to grow into the adult, into the human that you feel like you should be without trying to be somebody you're not. And I feel like these past few months, I have gone through a lot of emotions of just ultimately just really trying to figure out the next steps, like where I'm supposed to go from here, right? And ultimately I still don't necessarily know, but I feel like I've grown so much when it comes to like what I'm supposed to do for work, what I'm supposed to do when it comes to just being a man, being there for your family, and ultimately just be a person that I would want to look up to and strive to become each and every day. And I feel like that even like if I were to go like maybe 5 years from now, I would maybe even potentially have a much different outlook on life as well. But I feel like these past few months have been such an interesting time of growth for me. And it's interesting because I haven't really gone through a big part of my life where I felt like I've grown so much. Like I've figured so many things out, or at least I think I figured so many things out. But ultimately today, I just want to talk a little bit more about if you're in a place where you don't have it all figured out or even close to have it all figured out, like that's okay. And that's very okay. And I could also maybe we could make the case for the point that like nobody has it figured out. Like, and what does even having it figured out mean, right? Like I feel like everybody in a sense has a different definition of having it all figured out, or having everything the way you want to in life. And I feel like so many times there are, there are days where we wake up and we just have a good day, and there are days where we wake up and something's just off, whether it's at work, whether it's with the people around us, but we just don't feel 100%. And I think those days in particular can really bring us down and really have us questioning, like, am I, what's going on in my life? Am I doing something wrong? Whether it's something at work. I've talked about work in other videos, and just trying to figure out, like, is my work purposeful? Is it something I want to do the rest of my life? And being 28, I do realize, and I think about this sometimes, like I have more or less 37 more years of working. If I retire at 65, like most people, I have 37 more years. Like that seems like such a long time. And of course, that's longer than I've been alive by over 9 years. So it's interesting to kind of think like, man, like I have 37 more years doing whatever I'm doing now. Should I be focusing on a different career? What will happen with AI or this or that? Will my career be gone in the future? Do I have a safe career? Should I be chasing more money, this or that? And ultimately, I think those thoughts can be beneficial to a certain degree, but I think when we overthink those things is where we really just start to wear ourselves out mentally. And I'm also a firm believer in things will come to you naturally. Like your life will play out as it should. And I think the decisions we make each and every day kind of create that roadmap into the future. And I think, a pretty damaging viewpoint to have is if you were just sit down and think about how your life would have been different if you had, let's say, gone to this college or gotten this job instead of that job. But I think a more helpful mindset is like, these things happen in my life, and whether or not they are good or bad is really subjective, but I'm going to make the most out of the things that I am doing right now. And then the things that I'm doing right now, try to make the best out of them. And then that will lead me down a path where I can either have continual growth, or if you do have failure along that path, look at it from the point of view as this will help me grow in the future. And that's ultimately what I've been doing with my life. I've been questioning a lot of things when it comes to my job and my work. You work 40 hours a week. It's something you don't feel super fulfilled by, or you don't have a lot of purpose, or you don't feel like you have a big purpose in. And it's tough. It kind of crushes you a little bit the more you think about it. And just recently, I've really felt just a peace and a calmness of just being like, it's okay to not have it figured out. Right? Like I could look down other career paths and be like, well, maybe I should do this, or maybe the grass is greener over here. And while we may not know if it's greener unless you fully explore that path, maybe the path that you're currently on is the best path for you to be on. So I hope this video made some sense and kind of what I've been feeling. And if you're feeling the same way in your life, maybe you just feel like, I just don't feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose or doing anything good enough. Like my job's a dead end, this and that. I think it's okay to not know, to not have it all figured out, and maybe not be in the place that you want to be. But I would say know that you are in the place that you're supposed to be. And if failure comes, have a different mindset. Use that failure as a learning opportunity to grow into the next part of your life, the next chapter, and ultimately just pursue something. It's good to have a good calmness about you, but always trying to be pursuing something, right, in your life, because it's hard to get places if you're just not moving, not growing, not getting better. You'll kind of just stay stuck where you're at. So anyway, this video was kind of short. Hope you guys enjoy. I just want to thank you real quick before I end for all the support. I know we're really close to 100 subscribers. The support has been insane. So I thank you all. Have a good day and more videos to come. Thanks.